Huge difference. We talked about after last week not allowing this thing to landslide, and obviously I think a win like this allows you to really close that book.
All right, Shannon, tell me this. Was that an impressive win for the Cowboys?
Impressive win? No. A good win? Yes. The Cowboys had 14 total penalties, 11 accepted. 7 of those penalties was pre-snap.
Yep.
Too many men on the field, illegal shift, illegal formation, defensive offsides, false starts, defensive offside, defensive offside. So now you don't even give yourself a chance to get a play off because you've done something dumb. You've been undisciplined. And I don't know, either you coach it or you condone it, but one of the two, something is transpiring. Now, the Cowboys, since Mike McCarthy has been there, have not been outside of the top 10 in penalties. One year they were third, last year they were first, this year they're 11th. But after 11 accepted penalty, somehow I got a feeling they're back in the top 10. The Cowboys finished 2 of 4 in the red zone. They were dead last in red zone. Now they're 29th in red zone scoring. That's third worst. And so for me, look, the thing is, yeah, it was a win. And Dak, you heard Dak say it. We didn't want this thing to landslide. We didn't want it to snowball. We wanted to get that nasty taste out of our mouth. I believe they did that. Was it a good win? Yes. But was it impressive? Nah, you're not impressive when you have 14 penalties, 11 of them accepted, and you go 2 for 4 in the red zone. You did what you needed to do. And I will give the Cowboys this. When they needed their offense to go down and get points and put points on the board Stephen H. Saturday, they got that done. When I need my defense, that bonded defense to step up, Michael Parsons stepped up, went and put the quarterback on his back, and Stephon Gilmore ended the game with a game-ending interception. So you have to feel good about that. But the penalties is what will get you beat, and we've seen it rear its head in the playoffs for the Cowboys on several occasions.
Well, I'm not going to deny the fact that I agree with you from the standpoint that I don't think it was impressive. It was a good win, so I agree with you there. But there were impressive elements to peel from it.
Okay.
First things first, Dak Prescott led the team in rushing. Now, that's a bad thing when you think about the running back, but it is a good thing to see him being mobile because that's incredibly important. You need the mobility of Dak Prescott takes you back to his first 4 years in the league when he was making noise and he had all of us clamoring for him to get paid because he showed the versatility and being a dual threat. Over the last few years, we haven't seen as much of that from a Dak Prescott. So to see some of his runs last night, I definitely think that was a plus. I think C.D. Lamb balling out the way that he did was a plus. Brandon Cooks using his speed, scoring a touchdown, making some key catches down the stretch. You looked at him and you see him getting his swag on and elevating his level of play. I got to give credit where credit is due in that regard. And most importantly, this defense showed up, made Justin Herbert look pretty normal as far as I'm concerned, which is a subject we'll get into later. But defensively, particularly late when Micah Parsons came bulldozing through and got his hands on Justin Herbert, the pressure overall that they collectively put, 47.6% of Justin Herbert's dropbacks, they was pressured. In a clean pocket, he completed 75% of his passes. When the pocket wasn't clean, obviously it was significantly lower. I take those things into consideration, and I say to myself, looking at the NFC, seeing what you're seeing from Philadelphia right now, Shannon, seeing what you're seeing from San Francisco right now, Jeff Saturday, if you're going to win, if you're going to make noise in the NFC, you have to play the way the Dallas Cowboys played last night. And that's why I say I'll peel a positive from that.
I don't think my earpiece is working very well because I just heard two guys say it wasn't an impressive win and then go on to tell me how impressive the Cowboys look. Here's the bottom line. That was the biggest win of the season for the Cowboys and in the NFC this year. You had the 49ers lose, you had the Eagles lose, and in a must-win game, all their dudes showed up and absolutely balled. Dak Prescott did it with his legs and his arms. C.D. Lamb showed up, what was it, $120, whatever it is. Cooks, who we hadn't heard from, scores a touchdown. The defense, Micah Parsons closes the game out and a Gilly interception. All those things are impressive. The only negative of the game for the Cowboys was the penalties. And I get that, Shane. I get you don't want penalties. You want a clean game. The game wasn't clean, but my God, it's impressive. You go on the road after you get dismantled by the 49ers. You walk into an away game in a must-win situation, and you close them out. That is it is impressive as it gets. In the NFL, when we know it ain't for long, everybody's going to be on you. You got to get that win before you go into the bye week. So y'all sit there and tell me it ain't impressive, but a 47% pass rush win rate by the Cowboys, that ain't impressive. It is impressive. Dak Prescott played impressive. C.D. Lamb played impressive. impressive. We've been calling for him. Be the one. Go be that guy. He was last night. It is impressive because they didn't hang 40 on him. Everybody's like, this is an impressive win. Mike McCarthy didn't make the big mistake, which we all knew going this game. Whether it was Staley or McCarthy, somebody's going to screw this up. Please don't let it be my guy, right? That's how both fan bases were feeling. He didn't make the mistake. He decides to kick the field goal. Was he conservative? Sure, he was conservative. Does everybody love it? Sure. I mean, no, not everybody loves it, but they found a way to win. So to say it's not impressive is silliness. This was an impressive win. They had to have it. They went out and got it. And I appreciate all the stats that y'all gave me on how this thing wasn't impressive.
I love it. You're filibustering it. You're taking up all the damn time. We want to get back at you. I mean, can he respond? Go ahead, Shannon.
No, impressive was what the 49ers did to the Cowboys. You said, it was a must-win. Philly lost and the San Francisco lost. Let me ask you a question. Even though the Cowboys won last night, who still has the better record? The 49ers and the Eagles or the Cowboys after they won? You do realize the Chargers have the 32nd ranked pass defense. I was going to be really, really concerned if Dak Prescott couldn't take advantage of the 32nd ranked pass defense. Wouldn't you have been concerned? Now, granted, yeah, there are a lot of pressures, but the only one that really mattered was Michael Parsons when he got him on the ground and the pressure at the end of the game that caused the interception to Gilly. But if you're going to say, it wasn't impressive, you don't like all the penalties, well, damn, that's what Stephen A. and I were talking about. The 14 penalties, 11 of them accepted.
LA's running backs to less than 2 yards a carry. That is impressive, right? They forced Justin Herbert to play that type of game to take advantage of their offense. So they did. Listen, you got to clean up after every game. I hate the penalties. I ain't happy with it. But to say it's not an impressive win when you go win that game on the road, it is. And you know, you and I both know. Hey, Mike McCarthy's up there. That was a great win. We love that we won. We put ourselves back in the conversation of the NFC because of this win. So it is impressive. Yeah, y'all just trying to, because the penalties are bad, but the rest of the game was not bad for the Cowboys.
Hold on. So let me ask you a question. You make it seem like Tony Pollard and the Cowboys running the ball like the old Cowboys, Emmitt Smith. So,
Dak was their leading receiver.
One element. You took one element. Dak Prescott Dak Prescott threw the ball well against the worst statistically passed defense in football.
And CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and their defense. Let me get at you.
Let me get at you about this, Jeff Saturday. Listen, Dak Prescott, impressive from the standpoint, 11 for 11 when targeting both CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, 3 of 10 when targeting Michael Gallup. We get all of that, right? Yeah. We understand that. But if you look at the history of the Dallas Cowboys, particularly and especially since Mike McCarthy arrived, one of the biggest impediments to their success has been penalties. So if they set up there and committed penalties last night, how can we find that but so impressive? You're going against the worst pass defense statistically, right? You're committing an abundance of penalties, right? You made the game, and because of that, the game came down to the wire. It was 17-17 late. The reality is that if you're the Dallas Cowboys, again, I saw some things that I like, and I'll concede that. But I still anticipate that a loss is going to come when it counts most, and penalties in all likelihood is going to have a lot to do with that, Jeff Saturday.
Best thing you said was concede. I appreciate that. I'll take that as a dub.
Stephen A. and I, we both said it was a good win. Impressive is what Detroit did to Tampa. Impressive is what the 49ers did to the Cowboys. Impressive.
Hold up. How many yards did Detroit rush for? 40? So they threw it all over the yard. They took advantage of the Bucs. I give them a ton of credit, but it ain't like they just physically moved. They just pounded that team. They didn't have either of their two best backs. I get it, but it's still, you just questioned how the Cowboys didn't run it. Dak played good. Jared Goff played good.
But were they back? Were their two best backs? Were their starting running backs in the lineup? Did they have their two starting running backs?
But I'm saying they still rushed for 40 yards, right? Like, so what you're saying about the Cowboys, not everything's going to be good every Sunday or every Monday. They found a way. That is an impressive win to go on the road after the beating you just took to go get that dub.
But let me ask you a question. When Tony Dungy stood up in front of you guys, or Jim Caldwell stood up in front of you guys, what was good and what was impressive? Did anything that had more than double digits? I understand. I'm not saying an impressive win has to be penalty-free. That's not what I'm saying. As long as you're clean, okay, you're going to have some penalties. That's a part of the game. The likelihood of you going an entire game and having no penalties is very slim. But you didn't turn the ball over. You didn't put the ball in harm's way. I will concede that. There are some good things the Cowboys can take. But when I think my thing is my impressive and your impressive might be different, little different Saturday.
I will say this about Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy would talk about a Hall of Fame quarterback like the dude could barely hold a job. So nothing was ever impressive to TD. So that respect is given there. That man, he wasn't never afraid of nothing, and nobody was impressive. So there is truth to that statement.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm impressed with you right now, Jeff Saturday. Coming in hot out of the gate. Stephen A., let's flip to the other side here. I know Herbert's not 100% healthy, dealing with that finger. Do you have concerns about him?
I do. I have concerns about him because he doesn't look the same again. 47.6% of his dropbacks were pressured. He completed 33% of his passes at the time, which was not impressive at all. Actually, 41% of his passes wasn't impressive at all. We get all of that. I'm looking at these close games that the Chargers have lost this season. He hasn't been able to close a deal. And Jeff Saturday, I'm just one of those dudes. I just believe that he doesn't have the right coach. I'm not a huge fan of Brandon Staley at that job. I think Sean Payton is going to regret the day he didn't stay at Fox Sports and wait right there in California, right here in California, in L.A. or Pico Boulevard. Should have waited until this job opened, and then he would have been a perfect complement to Justin Herbert. I don't think that is Brandon Staley. I don't even think that is Kellen Moore, to be quite honest with you. I thought that he was a bit flummoxed. Kellen Moore was a bit flummoxed last night. Let's not forget him as a narrative here. Coming into this game, the former offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, who had the Chargers averaging 5 more points per game than they did last season, while the Cowboys were averaging 5 less points per game in his absence since last season. That Kellen Moore showed up last night, and the Dallas Cowboys defense rattled them to some degree, primarily due to the pressure that they was able to apply to Justin Herbert. But this is a big dude with a strong arm who was considered one of the elites in the game. We've seen a lot from Justin Herbert this season. What we have not seen is consistent elite play. Shannon, Jeff, there's been a fall off. Maybe it is because of the injury, but maybe it's because of the system. Maybe it's because of the coach. Maybe it's because your defense is so porous it puts you in a situation where you got to play hero ball and try to come to the rescue. I don't know. Y'all know that better than me, but I know results. And what I expected from Justin Herbert coming into this season, with the Chargers literally challenging for AFC West supremacy, that narrative is gone. We don't see that from them, and it's because we're not seeing what we expected to see from Justin Herbert.
Well, Saturday, I think this is the thing also. We know this. He has an injury on his non-throwing hand. So the likelihood of him being up under center isn't very good. So now the defense already knows, okay, we don't have to worry about him being up under center. He's going to take probably 100% of his snaps from the guns. Another thing, the Chargers, 10 penalties, 9 of them accepted. The problem that Justin Herbert has, he plays good. He plays good to great for 3 quarters. But come fourth quarter, he has more fourth quarter turnovers in one-score games since 2020 than any other quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. And that's when the money needs to be shoved to the middle of the table, and that's when you collect. And right now, he's not collecting nearly enough.